it just didn't work. It made me feel worse. And it came to a point, I can't remember what it was called, where the medication actually conflicted with itself. So this one and this one didn't go together. And one day I found myself, like my body was spazzing. I was in the hospital for over a week.
Wow.
On morphine every day because my heart rate was like 200 and something. My body was spazzing.
Wow.
And they had to basically just flush it out of my system.
Hi, welcome to Sharing with Susan B, telling stories from the heart. We're looking to inspire, telling stories of struggle, vulnerability, and lessons learned. Hi, welcome. Really excited to have Jessie Perreault. Jessie is the VP of Carlones Canada, VP
correct.
of Marketing. And you're an intrapreneur, a speaker, and a mentor. Now, I had to look that up, Jessie, what an intrapreneur is, and it wasn't what I thought it was.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, an intrapreneur is a manager within a company who promotes innovative product development and marketing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think an entrepreneur is also somebody that comes into the company with the mentality as if it's their own, right?
Yeah,
So you almost treat the company's finances as if it was your own money. So you're like an entrepreneur, but you don't technically own the company as well.
It's not bad, using other people's money.
Yeah, exactly.
And you do some volunteer work as well. You create some LinkedIn events locally here in Ottawa and raise some money for local charities. You're also a mentor for Discover Year, which I learned was a really cool program. It's a 1-year career and leadership development program for youth that helps young people develop their passion and their interests. I thought that was really cool. But as a kid, you always wanted to be a business owner.
Yeah.
But you were a bit of an introvert.
That's
we could
correct.
talk about that. But in high school, you were like a business nerd.
Very much so. Very much so.
You took a lot of business courses, and you studied business administration at Algonquin. But what I found interesting in talking with you is that you're always exploring your curiosity, and you did that online. And you did some really cool things, like you learned how to monetize content online. You became a video game content director. And you sold video game currencies. That sounds interesting. And you created a bunch of YouTube channels, and one of them actually got 1 million views.
Yes.
So that's really cool. So you developed some expertise in digital marketing and kind of led into the work that you do today. Tell us about the project that you started, 500 coffees in 500 hours.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So the 500 coffees, I always stress it's a quality thing. It's not the quantity. The quantity is more my marketing coming out. It gets people's attention.
Sure, it's a big number.
Yeah, if I told people I had 5 coffees, they wouldn't be as interested. But that was the last time I checked the CRM I had at the time, which is about 1.5 years ago. It's probably closer to 1,000 now.
Was I one of those coffees?
Actually, no, I can add you on there
Okay,
for
good.
sure. But I grew up in a small town where I was very quiet. I was the shy kid. I was the DD driver, if you will, for all my friends, which I didn't have many.
The business nerd.
I was the business nerd. It's very true. Like I read books when everyone was out partying, right? So I was an introvert. I worked on a computer. I liked technology. And I never saw myself going out and talking to people and making myself uncomfortable. But I always had that curiosity of why do people do what they do? Do they actually get where they're at in their life? Do they get why they're doing what they're doing? So I always had that curiosity in the back of my mind. I just didn't do it because of limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
It was
that gets a lot of us, those limiting beliefs, those nasty ones. But your dad was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you're quite opposite your careers that your mom and dad had.
Very much so. So my mom worked in a factory her whole life. My dad was an entrepreneur, ran a DJ business. So eventually I decided to do both of their roles to say, hey, I'm going to try both and figure out what I like.
Because you were curious.
I was curious. Somebody asked me for coffee one day on LinkedIn. This is before I started really putting stuff out on LinkedIn. And I'm like, what does he want to sell me? Right? Sure enough, I sat down with the guy. His name's Terry Lipovsky, and he's an executive coach, really good friend. And it just went way different than I expected it to. He just gave me value, nothing but value. And
so he wasn't trying to get something from you or sell something. He was genuinely interested in you.
Yes, which was different than anything I've really
it's not what
experienced.
you
He stood out, right?
Yeah.
So he introduced me to Simon Sinek's Start With Why and Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I bought both books after he told me, and I read them, and I was fascinated. And Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, it brought the whole idea of what he just did to me to my attention of we can differentiate ourselves by being empathetic listeners.
Love that.
So the 500 coffees was I was in a sales marketing position. I had to meet a quota like we all do, right? We have to make quotas. I said, I grew up in a small town. I don't know anybody in Ottawa. I need to meet people.
Yeah.
I'm going to have coffee with them. I'm just going to ask random people for coffee, sales, marketing, entrepreneurs. The title didn't really even matter. I just need to meet people and then leave a good lasting impression.
I love that.
Because I think networking's not about, hey, here's my card, you want to do business? It's about what are they saying about you when you're not in the room?
Well, yes. And what it really is about is the value that you bring,
Yes.
right? And that you leave them with. People don't care how much you know, they care how you make them feel, right?
Definitely.
So that's what you were doing. But you had business come out of it
Yes.
as a result, even though that wasn't your intention.
Yes.
So isn't that an interesting thing? And as a millennial and being early on in your professional pursuits, I want to ask you what you feel has been the biggest struggle so far for you in business.
The biggest struggle, I think, is believing in myself, right? I bring up limiting beliefs. I didn't, for whatever reason, it's like when you go to the high school or whatever, you're really good at one subject and you feel like that's what you have to do for the rest of your life just because you had good grades. But the reality is you could be good at other subjects. You just have to apply yourself. I didn't really believe in myself fully. There's titles, there's wealth of people, and I'm like, well, who am I to associate with them? Because I'm just this small introverted kid from a small town, and who am I to talk to them?
That's how you come out of your shell,
That's
right?
right.
You lead with your curiosity. What about a personal struggle for you?
Personal struggle. So I think it does come back to that. But for me, the biggest struggle in my life, and it's something I openly talk about with people, is depression and anxiety, which is very, very common today, and it's something I spend a lot of time with.
Especially for your millennials.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, we live in a fast-paced age where connection of social media is not really the connection. We miss community involvement like we once had. But for me, it was an accumulation of events. So it was right around college time. I'm going to post-secondary, which is new in itself. My parents divorced right then. My girlfriend I dated all through high school left me. All my friends that I was really close to, they all went their own direction. I moved, I was commuting, all these different events. And then I was like, what is happening? All this change. I didn't know how to deal with it. And then I found myself incredibly depressed and anxious. And I went to see my doctor, and I honestly felt like a guinea pig. They're like, try this. And if this doesn't work, this.
Medication.
Yeah. And I don't have anything wrong with medication.
No, because it works for a lot of
Because
people.
it definitely works for a lot of people. But for me, it just didn't work. It made me feel worse. And it came to a point, I can't remember what it was called, where the medication actually conflicted with itself. So this one and this one didn't go together. And one day I found myself, like my body was spazzing. I was in the hospital for over a week.
Wow.
On morphine every day because my heart rate was like 200 and something. My body was spazzing.
Wow.
And they had to basically just flush it out of my system. And after that, I said, like, I don't think anyone can change this but me. So
Up here?
mentally, right?
Yeah.
It starts in the mind. So that's
Is that what you learned?
Yeah. The struggle taught me a few things. Being surrounded by loved ones and family who said, like, I have so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Which gratitude helped me a lot. Helped me a lot.
It's magical.
Yeah. So that was tough. It was the point where the depression was so bad that if I did get out of bed, I'd go to my computer, which was literally beside my bed. And then there came a point where that didn't even happen anymore. I just couldn't get out of bed. I was literally crippled by it, and I just felt like, why do I exist?
Well, I love that you're sharing this because I know a lot of people are going to be able to relate to your story, not just millennials, but many people. What advice would you give from what you've learned?
Yeah, no, it's good. I think, a mentor I found early on said, you'll never be comfortable until you become uncomfortable, which was kind of a catalyst to a paradigm shift that I had to associate being uncomfortable with growth and progress in my life.
Yeah, that's good.
Which really helped me kind of come out of the depression I was in. And I think lastly is, to explore your curiosities, which is why Discover Your, that program you mentioned, is very close to my heart because it encourages kids to do exactly that. Figure out what you enjoy in your life, right?
And it's not just for kids, it's for all of us.
No, definitely.
But, following your curiosity, because your curiosity could lead you to your passion.
Yeah.
How about some rapid fire questions?
Sure, let's do it.
Wrap up. Favorite food indulgence?
I would have to say it's junk food, like pizza, wings, poutine kind of thing.
Do you have some on the weekend?
Yeah, I actually did this weekend, so yeah.
Someone you admire?
Someone I admire would definitely be my fiance.
Oh.
And I don't just say that to be in the good books kind of thing. I say it because she's somebody that lifts me up, inspires me constantly, and is somebody that is the least selfish person ever.
Something not too many people know about you.
I enjoy yoga. Yoga. Not many people picture me doing yoga, but I like it. It's peaceful, it's calming, and then I kind of pair that with some meditation as much as possible.
Smart.
We don't take time to disconnect, and it's really good for me, at least for me.
Millennials know you millennials got it going on. Favorite book, movie, or quote?
Yeah. Favorite movie would be Lion King. I think Lion King, I've always been fascinated with Disney. Once again, we talk about feelings, right? We make decisions on feelings, we reinforce it by logic and facts. And then book-wise would be How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's just one that was the huge catalyst to my whole journey, so.
Changed the course of the way you looked at things.
Definitely.
What about something that always makes you smile?
Just the people I surround myself with, they always make me smile. I think, because to me, happiness is like the ROI of life. If you're not happy, then try to seek happiness, right? Yeah. And we have so much time. You want to spend that time. People say efficiently, but to me, efficiently is happiness, right?
I like that.
Yeah.
What's your definition of success in one quick sentence?
It's just about enjoying what you do.
Yeah.
And one of the things that helped my anxiety as well was I used to always look at a destination. But the thing is, once you hit a destination, it changes. You have another destination. And it's good to have goals, but it's the journey. So I think success is actually just enjoying the journey and enjoying what you do.
Exactly what it is. Jesse, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. We could talk all day.
I know
we'll have some more coffee
after.
If you want to find out more about Jesse Perreault, he has got a very robust profile and content that he puts out on LinkedIn. That's your main platform.
Yep,
and he puts out some great stuff. So check him out there on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Woo!
Wow, that was amazing. I was so inspired by our guests today. I hope you were too. We've got some really cool things coming up. If you have any comments or questions, please contact me. My information's below, and we'll see you next time.